We have like a whole generation of people that have no chest. I don't know what happened, like shrunken chesticles, even on the pro bodybuilding stage. And so it's like, what's going on? Well, I blame it on the gurus. You have to keep your chest up and your shoulder blades fully pinched together the whole set. Well, look, to contract a muscle, the pec ties in right here and right here. That's fully lengthened. That's fully shortened. To fully shorten the pec muscles, you have to bring the scapula or the shoulder blades forward. Oh, but you don't want your shoulders in front of the chest, then you're working shoulders. Then arch your back. So it's not that you keep the shoulder blades retracted the whole time. If you keep your shoulder blades squeezed together the whole set, this is a fully stretched pec. Did my pec move at all? No. I didn't even contract the pec. The shoulder blades have to come forward to get a good contraction of the pectoral muscles.
So it's arched and moving.
So this is, I like the cue, put your lats in your back pocket. Like a lat pull down, right? So now my chest is up. My shoulder blades go back, they go forward. Now I'm squeezing and but my chest still stays high, fully squeezed. My chest is still above the shoulders, fully stretched, fully squeezed, right? So the shoulder blades, they go together and then they come forward. But the chest still stays high. So don't keep your shoulder blades retracted and squeezed together as tight as you can, like a lot of experts are saying. You're just working your arms. The pec's not even moving when you keep the shoulder blades retracted the whole set. So, a lot of lat focused back workout today. More pull downs, less real heavy rows. We something though, reach forward for the stretch. If you're back here, you can't stretch the lats. So don't be swinging the weight back and forth, but reach forward, good stretch. And if you stay right here, you can't contract the back. So you want to really arch the chest through. Full stretch forward, really arch that chest up like you're trying to throw the chest through the pad. Stretch and contract. Again, the forward and the backwards. It's not at the waist. It's not. That's good, right? But it's the upper. It's this, this, and this. And once you get that down, you won't just know how to work back. Stretch the back, contract the back, stretch the back, contract the back. See, it's just moving that upper torso. You need to do the same thing when you're training chest. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go. You're just working your arms. The pec's not even moving when you keep the shoulder blades retracted the whole set. They have to come forward a little bit. And I don't want to belabor the point, but to say that you need to keep your back fully contracted the whole time you're doing a set for chest, you're supposed to be contracting the chest. That would be like saying, contract your triceps. Keep your tricep fully contracted. Now work your bicep. Well, I can't work my bicep. Can't do this with a fully contracted tricep, can I? If this is fully contracted, I can't curl this because now this ain't fully contracted. Opposing muscle groups work that way. So to say that you're going to get good chest contractions with a fully contracted back the whole time, you're not. You're not working chest. Imagine a lat pull down with the lats in the back pocket. Now stretching and squeezing the pecs and let the shoulder blades move freely with the chest high. Keep that arch, like McDonald's, that sandwich, Arch Deluxe. Yeah, they still have that?
throw him that.
I have to see if they still have it. Arch Deluxe. Now you're working chest. Obviously, that's much too light, but do a few more. Feels good. So I guess I will belabor the point a little bit more. You cannot contract the pecs with a fully contracted back, keeping your shoulder blades fully retracted. It's the same thing but different. It's saying to work the back really good, you got to keep your pecs fully contracted. Well, fully contracted pec is forward. Okay, so keep your pecs fully contracted. Now squeeze your back. Well, I can't. If I go to squeeze my back, my pecs open up. They're not contracted anymore. Same thing. You cannot keep your back fully contracted and contract your pecs. You have to let it come forward a little bit. So you can't fully contract your hamstrings with a fully contracted quad. So I will say it's a good cue for some people. Some people that caving or they shoulder press the bench press. Keep your shoulder blades retracted. What you need to know, the take home is, a lot of these cues aren't meant to be taken literally. Like when I tell someone on a lat pull down, I want you to squeeze your lats down into your back pockets. Well, you're not literally gonna put your lats in your back pockets. When you're on the incline bench press, you know, imagine you're doing a lat pull down at the bottom. You know, it's to get that arch, to keep that chest up. Again, I saw just the other day, you know, someone, hey man, don't raise your back up off the bench when you're bench pressing. You need to keep your back flat on the bench. Well, you keep your back flat on that bench and you can just waste your time bench pressing. Your spine is not flat. You have a very prominent arch in the lower back, and a very prominent arch this way in the upper back, and a very prominent arch this way in the neck. The spine is not straight. So again, when you hear these cues like keep a flat back, nobody's back is flat. The spine literally does this. It's like a question mark. It's like more than a question, more bends than a question mark. So you can't keep a flat back. You can't keep a straight spine. A neutral spine is not a straight, flat spine. So when you're bench pressing, you need the lower back and the mid, even the upper back a little bit off the bench a lot of times. Every great bench presser I've ever seen, every record holding bench presser benches off of their traps, their upper back, and the rest is off the bench. If you lay flat on a flat bench, there should be a natural arch in your lower back. And if you force it down onto the bench just to have a textbook flat back on the bench, watch what happens when I force my lower back flat. All this comes forward, and you can't hit the chest that way. You've got to keep that arch to keep the chest high, and then you can do it. So don't keep your back flat on the bench, and don't keep your shoulder blades squeezed together the whole set. Ain't we training back? How do we get off on this?
And beware of the gurus.
Beware of the gurus. Everyone's a guru today. Everyone knows everything.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, one more.
I'm about to start my own channel.
Huh?
I'm about to start my own channel on bodybuilding.
The human body is not built in straight lines. Very rarely do you want to be flat. Heavy. What are you laughing at?
Something I saw.
Fly like an eagle to the sea. What?
I'm embarrassed.
Me too.
Yo, if he starts stripping in front of the mirror, I'm out of here.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Back in the day, everyone would just strip in the main room. Now they have dedicated stripping rooms, posing rooms, they call
Yeah, which somehow is weirder. Somehow it's weirder. I prefer the good old days when everybody just dropped their pants in the main gym,
Yeah.
flexed the quads, took the shirt off, hit some poses.
It was a very common
Now you go to the back room that's dedicated to posing. I feel like such a creep going in that room. It's like that comedian, he said, I love the robes when I go to a nice hotel and I get a nice robe. But whenever I'm wearing the robe and like room service knocks on the door, I take the robe off real quick to go answer the door. It was Eddie Izzard. He said, because like I answer the door and it's not my robe, it's their robe. And I just kind of feel like a creep, you know, prancing around in a robe. And so I take it off real quick, throw on a t-shirt and some boxers, and then I open the door. And then when they leave, of course, I take my clothes off, I put the robe back on. That's kind of what I feel like. It's like I want to go into the back room and get naked and pose and all that. I'm afraid someone's gonna see me in there or see me come out of there and be like, what was that creep? He was naked in there posing, checking himself out. Yeah, that's what the room's for, but it doesn't matter, that's what it's for. Still kind of weird. You know, yeah, weird. Bodybuilders are gay, man. It is what it is. I love the sport. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bodybuilding is gay. Jiu-jitsu, I love it. It's gay. You just roll around with a bunch of guys, pose naked with a bunch of guys in our underwear. Anyways.
Why do you love all the gay stuff? It's so weird.
Well, gay used to mean something totally different. You know, gay used to mean happy. When I was growing up, gay was just your friend that you made fun of. It didn't mean homosexual. Now, who knows what it means? I mean, it might be good, it might be bad. I don't even know what the term means anymore. Bro.
Have enough weight?
Look heavy now. You look heavy? Okay. 12, like 10, 12, 14 reps for back. Two steps to failure. Failure. Put some water. So, I think we'll do lat pull down finish with after this.
You stretching?
Stretch. This one. This one's very similar to a barbell row. We're doing heavy barbell rows every week, which the fatigue will start to accumulate. A heavy barbell row is almost as taxing as a heavy deadlift. You know, doing heavy deadlift session every week, heavy squat session every week. axial loading on the spine. And in some ways it can be more taxing than a deadlift because you're isometrically contracting the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, the whole set. Just having to hold that weight there. You get no rest. The whole set, just loading the spine isometrically. And anyways, today we're doing this DY row, which stands for Dorian Yates row. He helped them design this piece of hammer strength equipment. And basically you're just pulling to the lower part, really hit the lower latch and the upper back when you row like that. A lot of times you see guys row and they're kind of bouncing and pulling to the upper abs here. That's okay, that'll build up the upper back a lot. The traps, kind of like that bent over clean you see guys doing. And that's okay, it's not wrong, but it might not be right depending on what you're trying to hit. I like to just pull into the midriff or to the waist, to the hip, the waist. And that's what this DY row does. Brings you forward, pulls to the hips. And with the reverse grip, keeps the elbows in. If the elbows start to go out too far, you're just hitting a lot of rear delt. By keeping the elbows in with a neutral or even a reverse grip like this DY row, the elbows are forced in. You hit a lot more back, a lot less delt, a lot more lats. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Just a little bit more weight. Just a 25. Just a quarter. Just a quarter. done.
So we just wrapped up a back workout for the week. For us right now, it's every Tuesday, pretty much. It's every second workout for the week.
Been hitting back once a week. Today, we did a few different types of pull downs. Well, one was really a high row pull down hybrid, a hammer strength machine. And we did the DY row, chest supported row. Really hits the lower lats really good. And then we finished with a Nautilus pull down machine. Again, really hits the lower lats really good. If you're hitting the lower lats, the upper lats are contracting really good. But it's not always the opposite. Like you can, like a wide grip pull down or a wide grip behind the neck pull down, it'll hit the upper lats a lot, but you're not really getting much lower lat, lower mid lat. So I like those movements that hit the lower lats a lot. Like the bent barbell rows pulling to the hip, the dumbbell rows pulling to the hip, the lat pull downs pulling to the upper abs, leaning back out of the way. Like I said, if you're really contracting the lower lats really hard, you're really contracting the whole lat really hard. So this workout was mostly machines. I like to alternate from week to week with the, works good for me with explosive power movements like the heavy dumbbell rows, the heavy T-bar rows, the heavy barbell rows with free weights. And the next week we'll do more cables, more machines, really take the stress off the lower back and lower the overall amount of systemic fatigue. Start to feel it. You know, every morning we're doing some cardio, we're doing a little bit of running, or power walking, you know, depending on how the knees feel. Then we're doing a bodybuilding workout. Then we're doing some bag work for 30 minutes. And then we get that mid-afternoon jiu-jitsu mayhem in. So, you know, 3 or 4 workouts a day, the systemic fatigue, the CNS fatigue, it starts to build up over the week. So you got to have a way to kind of negotiate, you know, your recovery. You know, you got to know.
Is there a certain amount of, so like not everyone is able to take that much of their day to do that, but is there like a minimum amount of time that you would suggest or recommend for people to be working out per day? Or is it just how many types of workouts they're doing?
Well, I think everyone needs some type of resistance training, at least 30 minutes, 5 or 6 days a week. You know, that's what most of the research is showing. You know, for years and years and years, you heard the old adage, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and you will see a difference. Well, I think you can train 20 minutes 3 times a week and get great results if you're capable of training at a very high intensity level, but you're not going to get off the couch and be able to train at that level. So it's going to take several months, maybe even a year, before you have the endurance and the stamina to train hard enough to be able to train very intensely for 20 or 30 minutes, and that be sufficient. Does that make sense? So, but I mean, I would say start somewhere, but yeah, you know, 30 minutes for most people, even if you're a beginner or advanced, 30 minutes, 6 days a week is what you need for resistance training. And I would say another 30 minutes, 6 days a week of some type of cardiovascular exercise, you know. So, you know, like, it's not like I'm training 5 hours a day. You know, I do 30 minutes of cardio in the morning, something on the road or in the yard or whatever. Then it might be a 45-minute bodybuilding workout. Then it might be a 30-minute heavy bag workout, you know, later in the afternoon. And then maybe 3 or 4 days a week, it's an hour of jiu-jitsu in the mid-afternoon. So, yeah, maybe some days it's 3 hours or what have you, but everyone doesn't have to do that. I do that because I enjoy it. It's not like it's necessary, you know. It's not like anything is necessary, but if you enjoy it, and the more you do, the more you're going to enjoy it. If you're just starting out, you're going to come to that point where you're like, man, this kind of sucks, you know. I've been training for a few months, I'm losing motivation. That's that first little hump you got to get over. Just don't worry about what you feel like, just keep showing up, and within a few weeks that'll pass, and then you'll be good for a few months, and then it's going to come again. man, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really motivated. That's going to happen 6 or 8 times your first year of training. Push through those hard weeks, and you'll see after a few weeks, it passes. Once you get through that first year, you'll be hooked forever. Very rarely does someone train consistently for a year, then they quit. Usually they train real consistently for a month. And then they don't go to the gym the rest of the year. They keep paying their gym membership. So stick with it for a year, and then you'll be a lifer. But like I was saying, I like to go between, I don't want to say hard workouts and easy workouts, or heavy workouts and light workouts, because truth be told, the chest supported row machine, I mean, that set was just intense as a 400-pound barbell row, set to failure. But it's not axially loading the spine. It's not placing the same amount of stress on the central nervous system. It's not putting such a dent in my recovery stores, if you will. I can recover a lot more easily from a DY machine row or a Nautilus, pullover than I can a heavy barbell row or a set of heavy weighted pull-ups or a set of heavy deadlifts for the back. So the recovery is a lot easier. And then subsequent workouts through the week will be better too, because I'm not so taxed. The cumulative fatigue is not so great when you alternate the workouts from week to week with the heavy free weight stuff, with the heavy explosive power movements. You alternate that with the more rhythmic movements of like the plate loaded machines and the cable machines and stuff like that. And always bringing the intensity, because if you're not training intensely and to failure, for me, there's really not a point in going to the gym. Yeah, you get injuries, yeah, you're tired sometimes, but if you're just going to the gym for a light day or just to kind of knock the cobwebs off, so to speak, I would rather, if I need to do something physically active, I would rather just go for a run or do some yoga, do some stretching, do some shadow boxing. If I'm doing resistance training, the point of resistance training is to train hard, train close to failure or to failure, and grow and get stronger. So if I'm not fully recovered to where I can go into the gym and do something that's going to stimulate growth, do something that's going to stimulate a strength increase, I'm not going to go do a resistance training workout. I'm just going to recover more. And by doing what I was saying, alternating the workouts between more machines and more free weights from week to week, your recovery is going to be a lot better. And psychologically, you'll be more motivated to train. Like Tom Platz, most of his career, he only trained legs twice a month, sometimes once a month. And his legs never shrunk. Train legs twice a month. Every 2 weeks he would train legs, the greatest legs of all time. And a lot of the reason for that is, you say, well, you can't grow great legs training once every 2 weeks or twice a month. Well, you can if you're training the way he did. There's no way he could train that intensely, training legs 3 times a week or even once a week. Psychologically, it's just, you're not going to be able to go in there and crush it the way he did. But if you don't train legs for 2 weeks, you get in there after 14 days to train legs, and and this applies to training a body part once a week, that training every 14 days or every 7 days, you're training a body part once every 7 days, once every 14 days, it's going to be another 14 days before you train legs. Well, you're not going to hold back. You're going to give it your all to failure and beyond in the same way he did. And, people listen to this and be like, well, man, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to train really intensely once every 2 weeks. Well, I wouldn't suggest that, because until you're an advanced trainer, until you've been doing this for several years, you might think you're training hard, but you're not even capable of training at that intensity. Your brain, your nervous system doesn't know how to dig down that deep and make every last fiber fire to go to failure and beyond, It's like Tom Platz would be training and he would say, kill me, kill me. you know, that kind of stuff. He's really trying to kill his muscles, really trying to punish them. And you know, most people are never going to be able to train at that level of intensity. And the good news is you don't have to make great gains. You know, I mean, you can train legs twice a week. If you're not really bringing the intensity and you get great gains. It just depends on how you want to train. So make sure you're recovering above all. You know, it's pretty simple, really. Train hard, eat good food, sleep as much as you can, and grow and get stronger. People try to complicate it. Train as hard as you can. Put that same level of intensity into your diet, getting all the good quality food in. Put that same level of intensity into your sleep, and apply that same level of intensity to your relationships, your marriage. Right, babe? Because if you're doing that, you're not going to have stress in your life. And the less stress you have in your life, the more gains you're going to make in the gym, and the better life is going to be. So I suggest training real hard, sleeping as much as you can, eating as much good food as you can, and forcing yourself to relax and enjoy life. That's the secret to crazy gains that most people, you never hear people talking about. Don't stress. Right? And we're home.
We'll see you all tomorrow.
Time to eat.